In today's video, we're talking about trim protectants. Hello everybody, my name is Phil and welcome to Miranda Detailing, where we make satisfying detailing videos. If you haven't already, consider subscribing and clicking that bell. That way you get notifications each time our videos drop each week and you don't miss stuff. So let's talk about protecting your exterior plastic and rubber trim. I use kind of a variety of products depending on what I need to protect. So let's start with the one that I use most often. This is Stoner's Trim Shine. It's in the aerosol can and it's so easy to use this for difficult to reach plastic pieces on the exterior. So you have your honeycomb grills, you have other little bumper pieces and side pieces that are kind of difficult to get to. You could, spray dressings onto a brush and go into those areas, but this just makes it so much easier, especially on the windshield cowl, because those areas can be difficult to get to and brush into those intricate spots on the windshield cowl, and this gets to it so easy. Now, the long-term protection on this, I've tested it, and maybe a few weeks, maybe a month if there's no rain and you haven't really washed your vehicle. So this will wash away eventually, but for the ease of use, to make everything look really nice, then this is a great product. Now, it does bead water a little bit. If it has sufficient time to dry without getting wet, then it will bead water, but eventually it washes off. But still, it's a great product to use for those difficult to reach plastic pieces and things like that. Now, the other one that I've used, which I still have a lot of, is the McGuires Ultimate Black Plastic Restorer. Now, this stuff does last, but it's kind of a pain to work with. With this stuff, if it gets onto paint or glass, it easily wipes off with no problem. This stuff, if you let it dry, then you have to use either a cleaner wax or a light polish to get it off the paint or glass, just because it is extremely durable, but it's just a pain to work with. So with this, you may want to either tape up areas or put towels over certain areas so that you're not getting a lot of overspray. Or if you do get overspray, just have towels nearby to quickly wipe it off paint or glass. So it's a little bit difficult to work with, but it does last. It turns the plastic nice and black, and it beads water for quite a few weeks, if not months. But it's just kind of a pain to work with. So not a huge deal, but I prefer the Stoner's Trim Shine over that. So another product that I'll use on the exterior is the Guys VRP. I don't use this one as much for exterior trim. I use it more for tires, but this is great for exterior trim. It will bead water and last maybe a month or two, depending on rain and washing and things like that. It can last longer. It just won't look as good as the day you applied it, with any trim dressings, basically. So this is great for trim as well. Now, I used to use Blackwell Pro. This is good stuff. This would last quite a few months. It's a little greasy to work with, but it does work. Now, the other one that I use is Maguires Paint Protect. I know, it's a little weird, but I don't like it for the paint. I like it for the trim. It's kind of greasy. It kind of reminds me of, Blackwell Pro. So I started using it on the trim a while ago, really when I first got it. I tried it in the paint, didn't like it. Tried it on the trim and loved it. It soaks into it. It beads water for quite a long time. And it's great to use on trim. It's very watery and greasy. So I use an applicator like this, and I will apply the product onto the applicator and put it onto trim, even the windshield cowl. If you want to put it onto a brush and use it for the honeycomb grills in the front of your vehicle, you can use that too. I usually use this for the windshield cowl. And then the other larger plastic pieces on the exterior. So give that a try. Let me know what you think. And if it gets on the paint, then it's not really that big of a deal. It will wipe off. It's just a little greasy, but it will wipe off of paint. I'm not worried about it doing any sort of damage. It's not going to anyway, because it's designed as a protectant for paint. So use it on the trim. Tell me what you think. Now, those are just dressings and protectants up to a certain degree. If you really need something that is more permanent, not really permanent, but lasting years instead of just months, then you're going to need to go with something like a ceramic coating designed for your trim. Now, I have been using Gtechnic C4 Permanent Trim Restorer for years, and I love this stuff. It does an amazing job at restoring the plastics and then keeping them restored. Now, before I started making videos, I was using this on plenty of different vehicles, and I actually used it on a Chevy Avalanche, which has all of that plastic cladding everywhere. I used up one entire bottle, the little 30 mil? Yeah, 30 mil bottle I used on that Chevy Avalanche. And the worst part of it was, of course, where the bed was, where you have those sections that come out of the Chevy Avalanche. And of course, the cladding around the back window. Now, all of that was faded out. It was gray and faded out really bad. So I basically washed it. I wiped it down with IPA, all of the plastics, and then went to applying this with those little round makeup applicators. I used up a bunch of those applicators, but this stuff works great. It darkened the trim, and the friend of mine who I did that for on her Chevy Avalanche, it still looks good to this day. I think it was about 2 years ago now that we did it, but she keeps it garaged and she maintains it very, very well. And it still to this day looks pretty much like it did the first day that I applied it. So this stuff is awesome. If you're looking for a permanent solution, or at least one that will last years, then consider getting a permanent restorer like this. You can also use Geon Trim, which I just have so much of this, I haven't invested in Geon Trim yet, but basically the same thing. Many of the different ceramic coatings out there now will make a trim restorer, and that's really the way to go, is using one of those products. For mobile detailers, it's kind of difficult to do because really these should be applied indoors and should cure for 12 to 24 hours. But I have applied this to my old Ford Expedition that I use for work, actually a small section of the bumper, and we applied it outdoors. It never sees a garage, it's always outdoors. I think it just had, one day of dry weather where there was no rain, and still to this day, that section is still beating water and still looks great. So there it is, guys. Those are the options that I use for protecting the exterior of trim for my mobile jobs, and then for my jobs here at our garage where we do ceramic coatings and paint corrections. So if you have other options, let me know what you use. I know there are so many different trim protectants on the market, but these are the ones that I've kind of narrowed it down to that I use in our professional detailing business all the time, and we get good results from them. So if you guys have any questions or comments, put them down below. Let me know what you think of some of these products. If you haven't already, consider subscribing and clicking that bell. That way you get notifications each time our videos drop each week and you don't miss stuff. And if you're interested in purchasing any of these products, then click up here. It goes directly to our website, a dedicated page where you can actually purchase these products easily by just clicking on the pictures, leading you to Amazon. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.